Welcome to the Investor Coaching Show. Here's your host, Paul Winkler.
All right, we're back here on the Investor Coaching Show. Paul Winkler, Evan Barnard, and Dan Hill talking money and investing. And Evan, you're up, man. Go. What you got?
Yeah, I thought I'd bring the happy tone down on the show this afternoon and talk about taxes.
Is there a happy tone going on that I'm not aware of? I'm just checking. Asking for a friend.
Yeah. I am the cloud in front of every silver lining. I just wanted to call to people's attention, and us as well. The IRS finally issued final guidelines on the inherited IRA rules this week.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
This is like the third.
Are we going to get a reprieve? No more reprieves.
Guidelines.
No more reprieves.
No more freebies.
All right.
And so, to summarize.
Explain why I said that, Evan. Go.
Well, yeah. So under the Secure 2.0 Secure Act, if someone had an IRA and they passed away after December 31st, 2019, meaning they died on January 1st, 2020 or beyond, there was a new set of rules for the inheritor of the IRA. And primarily, the new set of rules applied to non-spouse beneficiaries. There's a couple of other exceptions, and we could probably spend an entire hour.
Within 10 years of death, if you're under age 18, But anyway, yeah.
But primarily, if you're not a spouse, you have to deplete the account within 10 years. Mm-hmm. Well, what caused frankly, the confusion was, well, do I have to start taking it out now? Can I wait 10 years?
Yeah, do I have to take it out and then do it 1/10 per year?
Do it 1/10?
Yeah.
Whose life expectancy? And frankly, the regulations were a little bit confusing. So what has happened is as the advisory community, Congress, the IRS has gone back and forth, basically the service has given people a pass for the last 4 years if they failed to take a distribution that should have been required under the law.
Well, because some people were under the impression that they could wait and take it all out in the 10th year. That's
right,
why.
Correct. Yeah. Or they started to take it out, and then the rules sounded like they had changed, so they stopped. Anyway, pretty much no one's going to get a penalty the last 3 years if you failed to take a distribution from an inherited account. Going forward, they have finally clarified it. And bottom line is this. If the decedent, the person that owned the IRA, was subject to required distributions when they passed away, the inheritor, again, not as a spouse, but somebody else, is required to begin taking required minimum distributions from that inherited IRA in year one, and based on their life expectancy. And so, say somebody passed away that was 90, I'm 60, and I inherited the account. I have to calculate a distribution the first year based on the single life table. My life expectancy is 60. And every year after that, reduce that factor by 1. Every year older I get, I reduce it by 1. But it's got to be gone in 10 years. If the decedent was not taking required distributions yet, so say I'm 60 and pass away, and my kids get it at 30, they could wait all 10 years if they wanted to, and then just take it all out in the 10th year.
So let's say that you have somebody that is maybe they're 60 and the life expectancy.
And this is why it's been confusing. Go ahead.
So let's say, I just want to put numbers to it because
cool.
I think it's to be helpful for people to understand what you just said. So in essence, the person is above the RMD age. They're above 73
today.
Let's say today that's the new RMD age for people right now.
Right.
And it used to be 70 and a half, and then there was 72, and then 73, and that's just changed, but it's 73 right now. And if you're born 1960 or after, it's 75, but let's just say that it's 73 right here, okay? Now, the person who has passed away is above the age of 73. They're having to take out some money based on their life expectancy.
Correct.
As if they were married to somebody that's 10 years younger. Blah, blah,
yes.
It gets really complicated, folks. I don't want to confuse you. So in essence, when you're 73, you're taking out just beneath 4% of the account value.
Yeah, pretty close. Yeah.
All right, so let's say that somebody is in that RMD stage. They're taking out money every year from their IRA and paying taxes.
Yep.
You have inherited the account, and you are, we said 73, so if age 60 works fine because you're more than 10 years younger.
Works for me.
Works perfect. Okay. Let's say that your life expectancy is 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
In this situation, what you're saying is that if you have a 30-year life expectancy, you have to take out approximately 1/30 of it in the first year after inheriting.
At least.
At
Yes,
least?
correct.
At least.
Yep.
Then the next year, you're going to take out 1/29th,
Correct.
1/28th,
Yep.
1/27th, and so on and so forth, till you get to the 10th year.
And then I got to take the rest
Then the rest
out.
of it's got to come out.
Correct.
So hopefully that makes a little bit more sense.
And you can
folks.
always take out more sooner, but that's just what has to come out.
Right. So, you look at that and, okay, now they've come up with some kind of a ruling regarding that. There are some exceptions to that. Cross that bridge if you end
Call
up
your
being one of those
advisor or
people,
us.
you end up having a situation where you got somebody, disabled, under the age of 18, you got certain exceptions, that there are people that you might have regarding that, but they're few and far between. For most people, you're going to end up in that situation where you have to get that money out. If they are not taking, let's say that person is not in their RMD stage. They're not 73 or above. The person that passed away is 67, let's say. And now you have inherited that account and you're age 50, just so we can keep the 10-year,
Yes.
more than 10 years.
Yes.
Because there's an exception. If you're within 10 years of the age of the person who has passed away, that's one of those exceptions regarding having to take all of it out in a 10-year period. If this is the situation, then you have the full 10 years and you can yank it all out by the end of the 10th year
Yes.
and pull it out without any distributions in year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
That's exactly correct.
There you
Totally.
go.
Yeah. Now, here's the interesting thing is because some of this has been, it's been back and forth and people weren't taking distributions and so forth just to see what would happen. And I'd talked about this, months ago, but had double checked. You can, in fact, do a qualified charitable distribution from an inherited IRA. And so let's just say you're in that position where, I'm taking RMDs or even you're not, but you finally hit age 70 and a half as the inheritor of this account. You could take qualified charitable distributions to begin trimming that thing back out of your inherited IRA and make that contribution directly to the charity. I mean, there's a lot of planning opportunities out there.
That's a great planning opportunity, and it's ideal because you're literally, for most people, well, a lot of it depends on what happens with tax laws after 2025, right? But because the standard deduction, I had a conversation with somebody, and it's a young lady. And she was sharing with me things that she had seen on the internet, as to what's going to happen if the election happens, if so-and-so, if Trump gets in, right? And was absolutely clueless, had no idea about the tax law changes that could be coming along.
Yeah.
As far as increasing the tax rates from 10, 12% up back up to 15%, for lower income people, higher income people, of course, nobody worries about if they have to pay higher taxes, but that's politically that doesn't seem to hold any weight. But then the standard deduction is one I forgot to tell her about, but that is a huge deal.
Drop back.
Yeah, because the reality of it is this. The reason the QCDs are such a big deal, folks, is that when you're doing standard deduction versus itemized deductions, you are actually losing your charitable contribution deduction. Is really what you're happening
Unless
by
you
using
do a
the
ton
standard.
of giving.
Unless you do, but then you're back to
Right.
using the
Yeah.
the itemized deductions again.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that would be, you wouldn't be using the standard. But I'm saying if you're on the standard, you have lost that, in essence, and you get it back with qualified charitable distributions, which is if you're over 70 and a half and above, you're able to do those things, which why they didn't go and pair that up with the RMD numbers, where I don't know.
My guess is they don't
But I'm
have a
good
lot
with
of people doing it, and so they didn't change the number because it doesn't have much.
I'm good with them not changing it.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Danny.
So, very well said, my friends. But what we didn't cover, because in your example, Paul, you said somebody that's 73 would have. What about these mulligans that were given out in 20, 21, 22, and 20, 21,
Yeah,
2,
excellent
3?
point. Yeah.
Is that the question?
Yeah.
So they have not extended the deadline 10 years from when they've got the final regulations.
So you got 7 years.
So if someone passed away in 2020, in this case, even if they hadn't taken anything out or should have, they don't have to catch up the provision, but it would still have to be depleted within 10 years of the date of death of the decedent. Okay. Yeah, good question.
Yeah,
Thanks.
That's an excellent
Thanks.
question. Yeah, for sure. And, and I think that all of this stuff, really, I was having a conversation with one of the ladies at the radio station, and she made the comment, and she goes, "You know what I love about what you guys do?" And I said, "What?" She goes, "Well, the thing is that, everything."
You're always right.
But the point she was making, she says, as you get older, you may have somebody that you decide to have cut your lawn, or clean the gutters, or paint your house, or clean the house, or do upkeep around the place, because I don't want to do that, or I can't do that anymore. And I often think about these tax law changes. They're so stinking complicated that the reality of it is trying to keep up with any of this stuff is super, super difficult.
We keep the financial weeds out of your garden.
I like it.
And I don't know if we mentioned it, but those laws sunset December of next year.
Yeah, exactly.
These laws that we're talking about.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I said post 2025,
so we have,
but yes.
we have about 18 months to
Clarify
take
that.
advantage of these rates because we don't know where they're going to go in January.
Yeah, depending on how
26.
the election goes. Yeah, for sure.